All right, no technical difficulties. So I'm in Seattle, Washington, and I'm at one of the great stores. I'm trying to look for a sign. This is Steve.
There's one down here.
Is there? All right, there we go. Hey,
Oh, sorry, guys.
you're fine. Let's see here. I'll show you. Stay there, Steve. All right, sorry guys. I'm trying to get this done, and this thing not cooperate. There we go. So there's Steve, the owner of Zen Natural Aquarium.
Aquarium Zen.
Aquarium Zen, but it doesn't say that there. So you've been in business how long?
This store's been going for about 5 years.
Okay.
And we're specialized in planted aquariums, nature aquarium
Hey,
style.
Look at that. There's a happy customer.
Just more of the beautiful, aquascaping style that's really getting more popular nowadays.
Okay.
So very focused on just creating more ecosystem style aquariums, a lot of plants, wood,
Okay.
stone, and just beautiful aquarium inspiration.
Yeah, so it's biotopes to natural.
Yeah. Oh,
and
of course, yeah.
you got into this how? Like, what was your
I've always been a
inspiration?
fish nerd since I was a little kid, and over the years, the beauty of the aquarium hobby is you could just keep going down the rabbit hole and learning new
Yes.
things and develop all these new styles. And I got really interested in the aquascaping and nature aquarium style about 10 or 12 years ago.
Okay.
And following the work of Takashi Amano, of course, was my inspiration, but also my inspiration from just being out in the natural world, hiking and making observations.
Sure.
Locally and abroad, like in the rainforest regions, and just kind of creating my own style, more like jungle style aquariums.
Sure.
But it's just nature and my fellow, community of aquarists who inspire me.
Got it.
And I just wanted to bring that to Seattle, create a little venue where people could come in and, obviously buy the products, but also get re-inspired for the hobby and
Right.
and see this kind of new wave of aquarium keeping that's really taking hold. So,
Yeah, it's got easier now. You got all the systems.
yeah, all the
and things
equipment's
and-
available, the lighting. We have the right technology to really dial it in. So the only limitation is your imagination now.
Right.
And so when I started the store, the goal was to really inspire people. Just have a space that they just kind of, especially people new to it or maybe haven't kept aquariums in a long time, to kind of get back into the hobby, and that's what seems to be happening.
Okay, so we're here because of the Aquatics Gardeners Show
Right.
or Association.
Yeah.
And it's in Seattle or where's that?
Renton. It's
Renton,
a
okay.
suburb of Seattle.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a convention there.
So it goes on today and tomorrow, so we'll give a little plug for them. So if you're local in Seattle and you're watching, you want to check out some awesome
there's
aquascaping and everything.
There's some great displays there. There's a vendor area where you could cruise through.
Yep.
Probably all the major players in the industry right now who are kind of leading the charge with the planted aquarium scene
Right.
are
Okay.
there. Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome. So why don't we go in and show everybody what you do and kind of give us a tour of your store.
Yeah, so we start right away with a few, just kind of fun and funky displays. This is a simple 12-gallon long, most of the aquariums you'll see in here are rimless aquariums. This is an example of a very low-tech, very simple, kind of subtropical cool water aquarium. So we have a bunch of baby goldfish, we have a bunch of mountain minnows, and very little tech here. There's like one tiny filter.
Yep.
And it receives a lot of natural light from the window, and it's an old drafty building, so this area a lot of cold, kind of cool air pools, and this stays quite cold throughout the year. So we can show people what they can do with just sort of a minimalistic setup, just simple, because we have people who just they just want a simple fish. They don't want to go all in on a big expensive aquascape, and even a heater could be a barrier for some of those people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So here's an example of what you could do with just kind of the simplest possible arrangement.
There's going to be somebody coming in, so let's go on. And I love white clouds. I mean, that's a
white
fish
clouds
that's pretty amazing.
They're a lot of fun. There's nothing wrong with white cloud. They're great starter fish. Even people who are advanced in the hobby can enjoy them. The longfin variety is really beautiful. But yeah, I created this showroom. Obviously, not only to show off the products that we sell here, but I wanted to create kind of a vibe, an atmosphere where people could come in, and it's like a little oasis from the urban jungle. So we get people just coming in off the street, coming in from the neighborhood, running their errands through the day, will just pop in here and
Just
say
hang
hello.
out. Yeah, you need a little
Just hang
coffee
out.
shop
Yeah,
in here, right?
I think that's the next thing I need to do is like
Yeah.
a little brew pub or a coffee shop.
That's pretty neat.
with
So
aquarium
we got a
things.
huge
Yeah,
paludarium here.
so we got, again, I was telling you, I really am inspired by rainforests and jungles. And so this is a living wall that's connected to the aquarium. All these plants are actually rooted down. They're attached to this plastic felt matrix
Okay.
on the wall, and then they're rooted down into the aquarium. And we just hand mist this at this point. It's pretty low maintenance. So we have a bunch of air plants here. This ficus is trailing around the walls of the little
Oh,
store
yeah, I
at this
see
point.
that. Wow,
And
it goes all the way around.
Yeah, and it just helps moderate the environment for this aquarium. There's only like a little air stone in here. So this is totally natural. We're just providing a little oxygen, a little light,
Okay.
and the plants are doing all the filtration. And we just have some simple little endler fish. There's like some ancestris plecos. And I created this space thinking, you might have a boyfriend or wife who's not into aquariums, and they could just chill here while their significant other does some shopping. And
Yeah, that's great.
and yeah.
What's
so we
this
have-
big? Is this a algae?
Yeah, so this is my green water lamp. Sometimes I like just to do funky experiments with vessels. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily an aquarium. It's more just like, what can we do with water, light, and life? And
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
it's kind of a joke in a way because we're always fighting algae. That's like our main nemesis with the aquarium.
Sure.
And so it's kind of fun to actually invite the algae in and see what we could do with it. So I like, especially at night, this thing glows this radioactive green. I have a little IKEA desk lamp behind it, and that's
Oh,
what
yeah.
powers it. And there's a few guppies in there to provide a little nitrogen. And it's an antique Hungarian wine vessel, so it's about 15 gallons. And
That's cool.
no filtration. We just let the plants kind of, again, whatever nitrogen the fish are producing is immediately consumed by the algae and turns into the green water.
Nice.
And yeah, it's just kind of a funky thing.
Yeah, I've never seen one like that. Of course.
This is a window tank. All the fish in there are orphans. People have kind of given up on the hobby or have to break down their aquarium for some reason. We'll put the fish in here, and they kind of live out their lives in this crazy jungle tank. This is a southern exposure. So in order to keep this relatively algae-free, I've just packed it with a lot of plants.
Nice.
Yeah.
Looks great. Yeah. I
It's
think
just
the
fun.
fish in there are beautiful too.
Yeah, they're really
So yeah, this is pretty nice.
So here we have a Bulbitis pudilata. This is the West African water fern, and mostly you see it. Typically, you see it growing underwater in aquariums. It's one of the classic, easy sort of epiphytic type ferns that we use in aquatic gardening. But here we have it growing actually out of the water. Which is more of its kind of natural state. So they come from these shady rainforest creeks in West Africa, and they're in nature. Of course, they're just emerging out of the streams. And since this room gets quite humid, we can replicate that environment for them.
Oh, that's pretty
And this has been growing for about 6 years now.
That is some
And
serious
yeah,
stems
some
on
of
that.
some of the rhizomes on this plant are like cables. There's about 5 or 6 pieces of wood here, and they're just wrapped around there, and it's fascinating. They've bound this whole structure of wood together with their growth.
That's great.
So yeah, it's a neat. I would like to do something different. This aquascape is like my pet plant, and I'm not sure what to do.
Yeah,
with it.
you'll
It's just taken over. So
That's great.
yeah.
And
But,
this is probably the showcase, right?
Yeah, this is where we show people kind of more of the high-tech style, so to speak, where we do carbon dioxide injection. We have some pretty fancy metal halide lighting, some very intense lighting, and it receives regular fertilizers, and so this tank gets the full program of how you would treat your ideal planted garden. So this is to show people kind of the Ferrari, so to speak, of the plant aquarium scene. So we have various levels, from like I said, that funky green water base, or just a little jar with a few peace lilies, just to show people how they can invite aquatic nature into their household and into their life. So this is more of the intense, more of the labor intensive, and obviously money intensive. experience, but we try to provide inspiration on every level
Sure.
for everyone.
So what sort of maintenance do you do this weekly, daily?
Yeah,
What's
once these things, so we have to fertilize weekly, I
Okay.
mean daily. So I add a little bit of fertilizer every day. And then weekly, at this point, this aquarium is very established. It's about 2 years old.
Okay.
And it's almost ready to be torn down and start over. I like to restart an aquascape
yeah?
every couple years, mostly just for fun, just to get a new design.
Got it. Yeah, something you learned or inspired you to
Yeah,
change it.
yeah, try a new inspiration. It's a little bit overgrown, but it's kind of, again, I'm into the more of the jungle look more than the real pristine, highly manicured
Sure.
aquarium.
Is that
But
the Dutch system or is that now what's?
yeah, I guess
Dutch
both
style.
Dutch and nature aquarium style. You can
Okay.
go pretty deep with the maintenance and management. But I like a little more chaotic, little free form
Yeah, no,
look
that's
to
beautiful.
it. But that's just my personal style. I think it's important not to try to copy others, so to speak, but more just develop your own, what inspires you and your own
style.
What's your what's the expression of your creative juices. But yeah, at this point, all I'm doing is 30% water changes, maybe once a week, maybe every other week if I feel like it. It really is a low maintenance aquarium at this stage, other than the daily application of fertilizer.
So what are these those tetras? What are those?
Yeah, that's
little...
the ornate glass tetra, I believe they're called. It's a rare species of Amazonian nanofish that have just been coming in through the trade relatively
they're
recently.
beautiful.
They're fantastic.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen those much.
Yeah, no, you don't
Must be.
see those around a lot. We also have a few other dwarf fish in there. There's some Gelius barbs from India. There's an interesting form of Endler's live bear in there, and then also Danianella, the real transparent, tiny little slivery fish you might see darting around. I think with the nature aquarium, you often want more subtle tones in your fish selections, nothing too outrageous in terms of colors and that kind of thing. That subtlety, we're kind of looking for more of a somber quality to the kind of creates a little bit more moody, gentle feel than the real vibrant, energetic fish. But you of course can do that as well. But that's just what I was going with this tank, and then scaling everything down so that they're tiny fish, even though they're in a 75-gallon tank. They're just kind of they don't even know they're in an aquarium anymore. That just provides
this is so much in there.
A right territory for them to express themselves. And when you see a fish swimming around naturally, happily, it just kind of exudes more of a vibrant energy.
Sure, I mean they're trying to breed or they're not stressed and
exactly
food source.
It's
everything's
not like
perfect.
a fish in a cage. This is a whole complete ecosystem.
Right.
And that's kind of what I go for.
So you can go from really simple, like we saw in the green globe, to some like little beta setup with just some water lettuce, right?
Yeah, we sell a lot of betas here, and one thing we're always trying to help people keep their betas in a healthier state. Their beloved pets are often like a surrogate puppy or even child for some people.
Right.
And one thing we really advocate is having some good plants, good plant growth in the aquarium, because that will help moderate the ecosystem, suck up all the nitrogen. And plants like this water lettuce are very useful for that, and it provides shelter and habitat structure.
That's great.
For the
And
fish.
this is
It's very
a couple
simple.
gallons is all you need, really.
Yeah, as long as you can keep it warm. Betas, of course, need warmer water, and that's
What
another.
temperature would you recommend?
In the high 70s, low 80s,
Okay,
ideally.
so like 75-ish?
Yeah, 75 up to about 82, I would say.
You got quite a selection there.
Yeah, so we sell a lot of betas. I love betas. They're one of my favorite fish, very intelligent, personable animals, and just gorgeous, obviously. And so I hand select all these betas from a local wholesaler, and so we could offer that kind of a curated selection of betas for our customers, which people like.
So is it beta or beta?
I think it's beta. I sometimes slip and say beta.
I always do.
I wasn't trained. I wasn't trained properly, and I'm trying to retrain myself. But I always fall back on the bad habits I learned.
That's nice. So you probably sell more betas or betas than probably any other fish in here, really. I mean, it's entry level.
Yeah, because it's more of a pet. It's less. A lot of the other fish are interesting to watch swim around and kind of add a little energy to your aquarium, but these guys become very personal. You get very attached to them.
Right.
You have more of an emotional bond to them.
Right.
And yeah, fun.
So show us around
great.
your fish room, and
Sure.
first
So
thing
we
I
have
notice is all your tanks are frameless, which is nice.
I'm inspired by the frameless, rimless style, just as a simple, clean look.
Yeah.
And I think the more you can remove the distractions like plastic junk in your aquarium, the more beautiful they are, to me at least. And so we're just trying to minimize kind of strip it down as
Right.
much as we can. So the focus is on the fish, on the aquascape, on the whole beauty of the aquarium. So when I started this store, the idea of aquascaping, rimless aquariums and that was only 5 years ago. It was actually pretty new.
Okay.
It was, not a lot of people, at least the general public, had been exposed to it. So I really wanted to promote that concept. It's just like it's just a personal.
Yeah, it's also your kind of your signature.
It's a signature thing.
Yeah.
I think if you have a little business like this little store, you have to find your niche. You have to specialize.
Yes.
And so this is what I wanted people to, what I want to be known for, what people would come to experience here. So
And
we
your
really
displays are inspiring. I mean, that's the key, right?
Yeah, this is another real simple tank, just a community tank. All these angelfish were orphans from some customers who couldn't care for them anymore, and they're just great pets. We have little schools of tetras.
Those are lemons?
This is the orange lemon tetra. This is a rather rare variety of lemon tetra. Maybe a separate species. Very actually easy to breed. I've had a lot of spontaneous breeding of this fish, and if you keep them in a heavily planted tank, you'll find little babies popping up. And then we have some juvenile red tiger subrums in there. I love the contrasting striping on those. Those will obviously get quite large, but at this stage they fit right in perfectly. These are all Amazonian fish, and they just kind of have co-evolved together, and they know how to interact and read each other's body language. And they're very relaxed with each other.
Yeah, they come right up like
they're ready to be fed, and they're fun little pet because it's a little walk around experience for people.
Yeah, very nicely done.
Yeah, and just simple. It's as beautiful it is. It's just a few pieces of wood, a few pieces of stone, ferns, just very easy, basic plants.
So what I'm looking around is a lot of live bears, a lot of nano.
A lot of my customers are keeping aquariums. I'd say 20 gallons and under. That seems
20
to be,
and under. Wow.
That seems to be the trend. We have a lot of apartment housing around here, and so that seems to be a trend. Smaller tanks. People are moving around a lot more and don't have the space for the large aquariums. So that's what we focus on.
So you guys
here.
do service and everything?
I do some maintenance, mostly for corporate clients, but the store pretty much keeps me occupied.
Okay.
I'm very selective with the clients I choose to work with.
Okay.
But it's mostly just the retail here.
And you're freshwater only.
Freshwater only.
Yeah,
and planted focus. All the fish are curated to do well in planted aquariums. We sell a lot of plants here. But this is kind of our main little room where we sell a lot of the livestock, and we just keep the displays open and simple with just habitat structure with the plants and wood for the fish, and everything else stay pretty healthy.
So these are, again, you're pretty neat with these small container.
Yeah, this is a creation. A friend of mine, he's a great naturalist and craftsman from Oregon. He's created these lights. He handcrafted this whole thing where he's cut a wine bottle and created a little lamp. And then here we can grow some emergent plants like a wabikusa. I just set this up this morning, so I'm still going to work with it. And you could do a little wabikusa. You have emergent plants growing out of this, and it could be a neat little tabletop garden.
So what I just noticed is that's the top of the bottle. And this is the
bottom.
Of the
Yeah,
bottle.
yeah. So he's cut it in half.
Yeah.
So we have a little water, almost a little pond there. Yeah. We could grow plants out of it. And he's
awesome.
Got the lighting rigged up. Yeah, he's quite a craftsman. So
artistic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we try to inspire the art aspect of the hobby.
Okay. And obviously, God, I say every tank's beautiful.
Yeah, this one is a work in progress. I like to show people the different stages. So I'll take my time when building out a display tank. This has just been planted. The hardscape's still kind of curing. These rocks are in here to keep it from floating away.
Right.
And planted it, and we'll just kind of take it step by step, slowly, so people can see the various stages and learn from these displays. Not only check them out and get inspired by them, but actually gain some knowledge and technique from it.
Sure. Does it only has CO2?
Yeah, it was.
Because you're a fish, obviously.
I was busy and I didn't hook up the filter.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine.
But as long as there's some
Right.
CO2 and some light, and then we've got this very nutrient-rich soil, and the plants are going gangbusters. These are all tissue culture plants. They've only been in there a week, and they've already tripled in size. It's amazing. Just the right lighting, CO2, good soil is just the magic combination to grow plants
Absolutely.
easily.
Yeah,
That's
very
all you
nice.
really need. So yeah,
And
that's
there's
what we're.
tissue culture. That's what you go with.
Yeah, we sell a lot of these tissue culture cups. They're very popular, getting more popular, and we have all the different popular aquascaping plants you could ever want. Here's a Utricularia graminefolia, beautiful ground cover, and a lot of mosses here. And so we sell probably about 30 or 40 different varieties of tissue culture plants right now. That's a gorgeous cryptocorn, the pink panther, that a low light plant but vivid pink, which
Yeah,
is
that's what
exciting because a lot of the highlight plants, a lot of the beautiful colorful plants are highlight and more difficult to care for, but that one's an easy one. So that's
Very
a
nice.
great addition.
You got more fish back there too?
Yeah, we got more fish back there. We got this is one thing I'm kind of proud of. We have a little sandbox. It's the footprint of a 75-gallon tank. It's
Okay.
18 inches by 48. And this is where people can go to work out their hardscape arrangement prior to making a purchase. So, they could get creative with, trying to figure out how they're going to lay out their tank and
Sure.
and just kind of go to town. I'll have people come in here just for the exercise of, the fun of trying to do a different layout. One of my customers is a very talented hardscape artist, and he'll come in here like 3 times a week just to practice his moves,
Wow,
practice his art, and he always leaves me a neat display, after he leaves. So it's just a fun exercise space, really, for
Okay.
people to work on their creativity. And,
Absolutely.
and-
And you know what to buy, and it's
Yeah.
all just
Yeah,
take a
you're right.
picture and take it home.
Exactly. Yeah, there's no second guessing. That's one of the advantages of having a local store where you can see all this stuff in person instead of having to buy it online, sight unseen, hoping you get what you want. Because every stone, every piece of wood is an individual.
Absolutely,
and there's
yeah.
so much character.
And they have to fit together
and
almost,
you
right?
if you can see it in person, you'll just be way more satisfied with the results.
That's great, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely support the local stores because
Yeah,
this is where things are done.
This is kind of the front line of the hobby, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Teach people how to keep.
The trenches.
Yeah. How are you on shrimp? I mean, that's also
Yeah,
kind of
we
a.
have some shrimp on the other side.
Oh,
I
okay,
can
that's
show you.
fine. I
Yeah,
was
they're
just- as I was
really
thinking about
they're
it.
super popular. We burn through hundreds of shrimp a week. We sell a lot of shrimp. Back
So,
here we have
yeah.
kind of more medium-sized fish that are going to get for larger aquariums, a lot faster moving, like danios and rasboras and barbs, and some of the more rare stuff that I'm interested in, like these wild bettas. Those are beta unimaculata from Borneo, a large mouth brooding betta. And it's there's a lot of exciting fish available in the trade these days.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Just more
this is another one. So see if
reflection.
you can get this guy. He's quite a beauty. So we could orient. There you go. Get the light on him a little more. Wow. That's a Beta mahachiensis. I believe that's how you pronounce it. It's from very limited distribution in Thailand. Kind of an endangered fish in nature, and a relative of the common beta, Beta splendens. But this is a wild fish that hasn't been manipulated by artificial selection or selective breeding or anything. That's just the way that fish looks in nature, and it's just going to get more beautiful as it ages. It's still a young male. There's another male below it, a little younger guy.
Yeah, with a little red.
Yeah, a little red. So you see the variability that you'll see in the wild fish.
How big do these get?
They'll get a little bit bigger, and their fins will get a lot more kind of drawn out and long. The females, and they cohabitate, which is fascinating. Now, they're not as aggressive as like a betta splendid. So we have multiple males in this tank, multiple females. That colorful one we saw earlier was a dominant male.
And these are mouth brooders?
These are bubble nesters.
Bubble nesters,
yeah.
okay. Those are
yeah.
mouth.
Yeah, those are mouth brooders. A lot of the bettas are mouth brooders, which is pretty interesting, especially the ones from Borneo. But this is one of the bubble nesting species from
Very
Thailand.
cool.
Yeah, so it's exciting that
How do those do in smaller containers if you don't have an aquarium?
You can definitely keep those in like a gallon jar. I've done that in the past with this fish.
Okay.
But it is fun to actually see them interact. They're very intelligent fish, territorial, and fascinating. Their behavior is fascinating to observe. So you could provide something like this. Then you could actually see them more their social aspects of their behavior versus keeping them alone. But they could be kept singly as well. But that's something I may keep here. They are endangered in nature. I may keep them as a breeding project just to show people. It's exciting to show the full range of fish behavior, from not just swimming around and hanging out in your tank, but also spawning behavior and all that. So we do that from time to time. Pick a project just as an educational thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Then that's pretty awesome. You got more betas in here, no?
Yeah, there's more betas. This is another wild type one. These are a lot of the betas are little. They can look a little like little brown jobs, and then they as they mature, they just explode in interesting but subtle colors. But this one the males will get a beautiful blue line on the anal fin. I think that's a female there.
Okay.
The lighting on that's pretty cool.
Let's see. What's this guy?
This is betta NSA from Borneo. So this is another mouth brooding betta that's quite rare in the trade. So we're lucky that I'll give a shout out to the Cichlid Exchange in Portland, Oregon. They really bring in a lot of these beautiful fish, rare fish for us to enjoy in the North American hobby.
Yeah, Cichlid Exchange. I've heard those guys. I think he's running around here somewhere
around here.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Well, thanks for that. And we really appreciate you supporting us.
Yeah, we sell a lot of the Cobalt microbrew tanks. Those are wonderful starter kits for people who are just trying to get into tank and keep the nice little healthy, beautiful environment.
That's great.
For the nanofish, especially for the bettas. They've been really popular for
the bettas. So if people are local, you're open 5 days a week?
We're open, we're closed on Monday and Tuesday. We're open Wednesday through Friday, 1 to 7, and then noon to 6 on the weekends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for showing us around.
Yeah, my pleasure.
And let's do that. Well, thanks, guys. And we're signing out from Seattle, Washington.